Tank, what do you think of the rear diffuser? How's it look, buddy? Is it good? What's up, guys? It is Eric from Verus Engineering on this fine Saturday. We got the CNC running, and I am going to be doing our first install on the GT350R, which is really exciting for us here at Verus Engineering. We have a lot of other products designed and planned for the 350R, but this is going to be our first one. Basically, it is diffuser strakes for the diffuser you see above me. These are going to bolt on fairly like OEM and improves the OEM's diffuser's function. If you know anything about us, we really like efficient aerodynamic devices, and this rear diffuser is actually pretty solid from the factory, but we are improving upon it with some strakes. We're making it look a little bit more aggressive, and they install really simply. So we'll get to the install here in a second. I'll go over what's included in the kit. I'll also go over what tools you'll need for the install, and then we'll do the install itself. Overall, pretty simple install, hoping to get it done within an hour and use some simple hand tools. Let's get to it. As far as kit components, you have outside diffuser strakes, inside diffuser strakes, and then we have a bunch of hardware. So these are M6 button head cap screws, these are M6 fender washers, and then these are M6 nylock nuts. You have twice as many washers for the top and the bottom side, and all of the hardware is stainless. These are powder coated 5052 sheet aluminum. All right, as far as tools required, we have a flathead screwdriver, 10mm on an impact, another 10 on an impact, probably only need one. That one's low torque, that one's high torque. A countersink or deburr tool, 4mm Allen wrench, some type of thing to mark. I used a Sharpie because the paint pen wasn't working. Drill, and I used a stepper bit, but you'll need a 1/4 inch and probably an 1/8 inch if you don't have a stepper bit, but I used a stepper bit, which worked pretty well for the entire install. As far as the first part, we're going to remove the factory diffuser so that we can drill some of these rivets out and drill the holes for the outside strakes. Now, sorry, back to this. That is a 10mm bolt, so those two need to be removed. We have a bunch of these plastic pins that all need removed, and then two more 10mm bolts right there. So basically, I'm going to remove the plastic push pins first because I find them the most annoying to remove, and leaving them for the last doesn't make sense to me. So I'll remove these. Basically, you have to use a flathead. There's a little opening on one side, pull that down, and then the entire thing comes down. This one looks like a completely push-in part, so we'll probably have to pull down on that maybe after we remove the bolts. But that's my route I'm going to take to remove it. I have all the holes marked, as you can potentially see. I know it's black on black, but I have a 1/4 inch drill bit and a drill, and we're gonna make the holes real quick. Then on the other side, you'll notice that there's probably a burr. So I recommend using a large countersink or some type of way to knock that off. You can just do that real quick, and that knocks that off right away. So the easiest way I found to do the install is basically have it up like on its side, kind of like this, and then it makes installing it a little bit easier than fighting it on the ground. I'm using just a button head on the plastic side, which goes through the plastic, then through the strake with a washer, a large washer, and an eye lock on the back side, and then we will tighten them all down once we get all the bolts in. Shouldn't take too long. All right, so all the bolts are installed with the washers on the back side. We can now grab an Allen wrench and a 10mm socket, and we can tighten all these down so that they no longer move. Once again, I'm gonna use that back side to figure out the fore and aft as far as where it should be installed. The back line lines up with that flat on the square in that back hole. So I'm gonna show you the top side this time. I have on a electric impact or drill, or I don't know what you want to call it. Very low torque on this guy. I have a 10mm, and then on the bottom side, I'm gonna have a 4mm Allen wrench, which holds the bolt in place, and then I'll tighten the nut. And while you're doing this, basically you're just pushing down on the strake so that it conforms to the diffuser. I'm starting center out. If you have a better idea, you can go ahead and do that, but I think center out is probably the best way to go about this. And as you can see, this line lines up with that square cutout in the OEM part. All right, and then the outer strake is fully installed at this point. I'm gonna loosen this one and push this one in real quick though. We're working on the bottom side. We have to remove these 6 rivets right there and there. I already removed them. It was supposed to be on camera, but for some reason the camera was not recording. Probably my fault. I used a drill bit, or a step drill bit, which seemed to work pretty well. Basically, you're just trying to drill a hole just large enough so that the head of this rivet basically falls off and the bottom part can then get pushed through on the top side. And once those are off, we can install the inner strakes. And to install the inner strakes, they could go either way, but we did CFD and testing on it so that these front 2 ears, they face outward, and then this inner one faces towards the inside, so that it goes like this, more or less. And we'll bolt that on real quick, and then the install is basically done. We just have to reinstall it on the car. Hope that makes sense. Well, yeah. All right, so here it is all installed. All the bolts are tightened down. Again, I didn't use washers on the outside. Fender washers on the inside units on both the top and the bottom. All the bolts are the same size. And torque spec, I don't know, something around 6 foot-pounds. The nylocks won't back out. So with these 4 diffuser strakes, the factory unit does perform a little bit better. We'll throw some CFD images and maybe some data on the closing screen. Clay will. But yeah, now at this point, the diffuser is ready to go back on the car in reverse order, and then the install's done. All right, guys, that concludes our diffuser strake install on the OEM rear diffuser. We do have an entire replacement rear diffuser that will likely go on a little bit after we do some testing. The entire rear diffuser reduces drag a little bit more and also produces a hair more downforce than just the diffuser strakes, but this is a great product to add to your car if you don't want to go to a whole diffuser. It's also going to be a little bit less expensive. This is part of our Ventus 1 kit that we will be releasing here shortly. I hope. We have an entire catalog of aerodynamic parts for the GT350R that we have planned that are coming out hopefully this year. We're working through the manufacturing models right now. We've already done the R&D and the CFD side of things, and we're really excited to produce all of them. It's a matter of time to get through the manufacturing models of each one. If you guys have any suggestions on any GT350R products that we need to look into, be sure to hit us up, sales@verus-engineering.com, or comment below. We do monitor all the comments. Until next time, we appreciate you following along, and see ya.